This story takes place when I was new to the gym and working out. I liked to go to the gym really late at night because that worked well with my schedule. Another reason why I liked it though is because I would often be by myself. The gym I went to was called Anytime Fitness, and it was pretty small but open 24 hours. I liked being the only person working out because being new to the gym, I would sometimes pause and look up YouTube videos to see if I was doing certain exercises correctly. There were occasional times where there would be one or two other people working out at the same time as me, but that wasn't a big deal. But still, I preferred to be alone. One time, I went to the gym late at night, just like any other. I began with a warm-up and then moved to some of the weights. Less than 5 minutes later, I randomly saw in the mirror there appeared to be somebody else there, but the person looked really creepy. It seemed to be a man in the opposite corner of the gym, and he was wearing a black sweatshirt with his hood all the way up so I could barely see his face. I was surprised that he was there because the gym is not that big, and I hadn't seen anybody at all since arriving. However, after glancing at him, I went back to focusing on my own workout. It wasn't until I noticed him in the mirror again a few minutes later that I realized he hadn't moved. He also seemed to be looking at me, although I couldn't exactly tell because of the angle and distance. He wasn't working out though. He was just standing there in a squat rack, sort of hidden, but he wasn't doing any kind of exercise. I went on with my workout and tried not to look in the direction of the guy. When I was done, I glanced over and was shocked to see that he was still there. After that, I left. The next night, I went back at my normal late night hour. When I got there, I looked around the gym and it was completely empty. I felt relieved when I saw this and began working out. About 10 minutes later though, I saw something out of the corner of my eye. When I looked this time, I saw the guy from the previous night was back. He walked over to the same corner he had been at before. Once again, he was wearing the same thing and I could barely see his face. This time, I paid a little bit more attention to him because I was a little curious as to what he was doing. Over the course of me working out, he didn't move at all, and he also seemed to be watching me. The longer that things went on, the more I felt a little creeped out by this guy. He didn't do any exercises, and he certainly didn't work at the gym. It got so awkward that I actually ended my workout a little bit early and left. After that, I decided that I would go back the next night, but a little bit later, and if I saw the guy again, I was going to change gyms. I knew there were multiple 24-hour gyms that I could go to in the area, and my membership could be canceled at any time. So when the next night came, I drove there a little bit later than I typically would. I parked in the fairly small parking lot in the same place I usually did. There was only one other car in that particular area of the parking lot. As soon as I parked my car, I was about to get out when I noticed the other car in the parking lot backing up. When it did, it turned around and then parked right next to me. I looked over and couldn't believe my eyes. The same guy wearing that same hood was behind the wheel, and he was staring right at me. Without even thinking, I put my car in reverse and started to back away. I sped out of there, and the guy remained in his car and in the parking lot. After that, I canceled my membership at that Anytime Fitness, and I joined another gym. Since then, I never saw that guy again. For some background, I'm a female, and a few years back, I moved into a new city due to finding a new job. I've always been into working out, and have been a part of a gym everywhere I've lived. When I first moved into my apartment, I was on the second floor and had a one-bedroom place. It was sort of big for a one-bedroom, but the overall apartment complex was a little bit old. Other than that, everything was great. I found a gym and joined it within a week of moving there. I would say that about a month after that, I was leaving for the gym one morning, and my next-door neighbor left his apartment as I was walking down the hallway. I said hi, and he said hi back to me, and he asked if I was going to the gym. It was probably obvious because of my gym clothes and the water bottle I was holding, but I told him yes. His name was Steve, and I would run into him in the hallway occasionally. We spoke briefly, and he said he wanted to join a gym and asked me where I went. A few days later, I noticed him at my gym. At first, I was happy about this to help Steve find a place to work out, but then things started to seem a little bit strange. I would go to the gym at a lot of different times, and Steve would always show up like 10 minutes after I did. When he was there, from what I saw, he would usually walk on a treadmill in the back the whole time, and was always still there when I left. Still, for the most part, this was nothing that I was concerned at all about. I got used to it, and I stuck to my gym routine of going when I could, depending on my job. This went on for about 2 months or so. Then one night, I was in my room and about to go to sleep, and I thought I heard some sort of strange noise. I couldn't make out what it was, or exactly where it was coming from. I listened for a while, and it wasn't a constant noise or very predictable in rhythm. I got up from my bed and tried to figure out where it was coming from, and then it stopped. I listened for a while, and it didn't come back. Eventually, I went to sleep. The next night, pretty late, I thought that I heard the same noise again. I listened, and I just couldn't tell what it was exactly, so I got up again, and then it stopped. It was sort of confusing to me, but what could I do? Then came the night after that. I was in bed, about to fall asleep, and the noises started up once again. This time, it was seeming louder than before. I got up again, and I could now tell the general direction of where it was coming from. I walked over to that corner of my room where I was hearing the noise, but as I approached it, the noise stopped again. Things became silent, but I thought I now knew where to look. It was my closet. I opened the door, and I looked inside. It was the same as it always was, really dark and closed pretty much everywhere. There was no light in there, so I turned on my phone flashlight. I didn't have anything that would randomly make noise like that in there. I looked to the back wall, and then I saw it. The wall was cut at the bottom. It looked like somebody had been sawing the wall or something, and there was a bit of a gap already to the other side. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The other side of that wall was Steve's apartment. I took a photo of it with my phone, and then ran out of my closet. I left my apartment and called one of my friends from work, and immediately left to stay at her place for the night. We were good friends, and the next day I went back to my apartment with her, and the holes in the wall were all patched up. You could tell work had been done though, but overall, the holes were gone. I was glad that I had took a photo the previous night, and I stayed at my friend's until Steve was evicted. I'm the owner and manager of a smaller gym in Nebraska. I really enjoy my job a lot, and all of the members and employees are great. However, one night about 3 months ago, something really creepy happened. We close every night at 9 p.m., and oftentimes I'm the one to close up and clean when everyone else leaves. I don't do deep cleaning, but just basic stuff like making sure all the weights are organized and that there's no obvious dirtiness around. On this night in particular, when everyone else left, I began my routine. I would walk around the machines, then to the free weights. I put some of the benches back where they belonged, and then rearranged a few of the dumbbells. The free weights area was at the northwest end of the gym. As I was over there, I heard what sounded like a person on the opposite end, over by the cardio machines. This shocked me, because I was 100% sure that I was alone, and before we closed, we even checked to make sure that nobody else is in there. I looked over to the other side of the gym, and paused what I was doing. I didn't see anybody though. After that, I went back to work. But no more than 2 minutes later, I heard it again. This time, I called out and asked if anybody was there, but I got no response. I was suspicious and decided to go check it out and see what was going on over there. I walked over to the opposite side of the gym, and when I got there, at first I saw nothing. But for some reason, I looked down and something caught my eye. About 10 feet away, there was clearly a man hiding beneath one of the machines. I'm not going to lie, it was a pretty good place to hide. But nevertheless, I saw him. He wasn't facing me though, so I don't think that he saw me. I thought about confronting him, but for some reason I just couldn't bring myself to. I feared that he may be dangerous, and I just had the urge to walk away. What I wanted to do was get a safe distance away and then tell the man that he needed to leave or I would call the police. As I began walking back though, I heard noises behind me. It sounded like the guy had emerged from his hiding place and was now walking behind me. However, I had no desire to look back and confirm this. Instead, I kept walking and I went a little bit faster. I heard the man continue to walk behind me. When I was close enough, I darted for the bathroom and got inside. It was a single bathroom that had a door that closed and locked. When I was inside, I slammed the door and locked it, and as I did, I saw the man for just a second as he charged at me and didn't quite make it inside. When I was in there, I took out my phone and called the police. There was a bang on the door, and then I heard the guy walking away. I yelled at him that I had called the police and he needed to leave. About a minute later, there was an extremely loud bang on the door. It sounded like the guy had taken a weight of some sort and thrown it at the bathroom door. Then there was another one, but after that, I didn't hear anything else until the sound of glass breaking coming from the front end of the gym a short time later. By the time the police got there a few minutes later, the man was gone. He had, in fact, thrown 2 heavy weights at the bathroom door that I was in and managed to dent it pretty badly. Then he broke the front window and left that way. I gave the best description as I could of the guy to the police, but I'm sure that it wasn't great for as long as I saw him. The gym had to close for repairs for a few days, but I'm just grateful that the bathroom door didn't break and that I'm alright.